appreciate if you could repeat what you just said.
Alors je reprends.
So, well, let me repeat then. As I was saying, this is a separate vote. Those who want paragraph 10 to be kept in the resolution should vote yes. Those who want paragraph 10 to be deleted from the resolution should vote no. I think that's a bit clearer. Well, the Secretariat will record the votes.
Toutes les délégations ont-elles enregistré leur vote?
All delegations have recorded their votes. I would request delegations to check to make sure that their votes are correctly displayed on the screen. If that is the case, then I will ask the Secretariat to close the voting machine.
Les résultats du vote
The results of the vote are as follows. 23 in favor, 14 against, and 10 abstentions. Paragraph 10 of So paragraph 10 of decision L1 R1 is adopted.
Alors, nous considérons donc le
So I will take it that the paragraph has been kept in the resolution, and we will now consider resolution L1 Rev 1 as a whole.
Y a-t-il une demande de vote?
Is there a request for a vote? China? And I think that your delegation took the floor during the explanation of the vote before the vote. At this stage, I'm not going to give the floor for explanations of votes before the vote anymore. We're going to go straight to the voting, and I apologize.
If necessary, after the vote, to start the proposal of vote.
Oui, la Chine.
Yes, China?
对不起，主席先生。
Excuse me, Mr. President. I do respect your right to discharge your duties as president, but in the view of China, the explanation that we have just made concerns only the results of the two votes that have just been taken. I am not going to explain my vote on. I have not explained my vote on the full text, and I would like you to give me this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Je remercie la délégation de la Chine.
I thank the delegation of China, and I don't say that you shouldn't give an explanation of vote, but I think what I'm saying is that we've gone through the stage of explanation of vote before the vote. The explanation of vote that you can give, it will be after the vote. For the time being, we're in this voting stage, and we cannot have any more explanations of vote before the vote because we've already done so.
Sauf si vous voulez un vote des explications.
Unless you want to vote on explanations of vote before the vote, in that case we can vote as well, because I think now we are in the voting procedure. So if you want to vote whether we should have explanations in the votes before the vote, we can also do that. But I think that at this stage We finished with explanations of vote before the vote, and we can no longer afford to have such explanations now. I would like to go on to the vote, please. I would ask for delegations' understanding. I see Cuba, and I would ask delegations to be indulgent. There has no longer any possibility of points of order during the vote.
Moi aussi, j'ai le rôle de poser le ciel. Alors, je vais vous le lire.
Well, I'll read the rules of procedure, since we're having a legal battle. It says in Rule 28 that when the President announces that the vote has begun, no representative may interrupt the vote, except to present a motion of order having to do with the manner in which the vote takes place. That's all. No explanations of vote. Perhaps you are opposed to us having an electronic vote, or you can have an old-fashioned vote by hand, but no explanations of vote. I apologize. So we will continue. We will have this vote now. And I will ask the Secretariat to open the voting machine for delegations in order to record their votes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
For his efforts. Although I have to admit, these rules are relatively decent compared to...
Toutes les délégations ont-elles enregistré leur vote? Je demande aux délégations de vérifier.
Could I ask delegations to check if their voting intention has been correctly reflected on the screen? If that is the case, then I would ask the Secretariat to close the registration procedure.
Alors, les résultats du vote enregistré sont comme suit.
The result of the vote is as follows.
23 pour,
23 votes in favour, 12 votes against, 12 abstentions.
dès lors le projet de résolution L1, REV
The
1
draft resolution L1, Rev 1 is thereby adopted.
Guru, where is yeah. Alors, je passe maintenant la parole aux délégations.
I now give the floor to those delegations that want to explain their votes after the vote. I see China, Mexico,
République de Corée,
Republic of Korea,
Brésil,
Brazil,
Afrique du Sud,
South Africa,
Japon,
Japan,
Cuba,
Cuba,
Fédération de Russie.
Russian
Je
Federation.
vais fermer la liste.
I will close the list.
Je ferme la liste à ce niveau.
The list is
La
closed.
parole est à la Chine.
I recognize China.
Mr. President, the Chinese delegation would like to express its profound regret. You did not give us an opportunity to explain our vote before the vote. In other words, before the beginning of the vote. For that reason, I would ask the Secretariat to record my statement during the taking of action. Let me stress once again, I am making an explanation before the taking of action. In the view of China, Sri Lanka has spent more than a decade in conflict concerning reconciliation and promoting economic and social development and protecting and promoting human rights. Sri Lanka has made considerable efforts. These efforts must be recognized. The international community must respect the right to choose one's own path of development for the people in government. Sri Lanka must be given enough time and space for internal reconciliation. And during the vote on this draft resolution, the co-sponsors did not take into consideration the efforts made by Sri Lanka and the successes that it has achieved. They used the problem of human rights to openly exert pressure on Sri Lanka to intervene in the internal affairs, to interfere in the internal affairs of Sri Lanka and to interfere in the process of internal reconciliation. This is an exemplary example of the politicization of human rights, and at the same time, some of the content of the draft goes against the mandate of the Office of the High Commissioner and provisions of the resolution which re-established the Council. Many members have already manifested their very deep concern. Consequently, China voted against that draft resolution. It is our view that this resolution does not reflect the consensus of the Council. Thank you. Mr. President, I thank the delegation of China, and I would like to invite delegations to maintain silence in the room. We will continue our meeting, please. I will now give the floor to Mexico.
Thank you very much, President. President, Mexico was an active participant in the negotiations of this resolution to try to ensure that after a number of amendments, a balanced text could be achieved, recognizing some of the continuing challenges, but that would also focus and emphasize cooperation. And this is the text that we have. And this is why Mexico voted in favor of Resolution L1. President, Mexico recognizes that the government of Sri Lanka has made progress in the dialogue and cooperation with some United Nations human rights mechanisms. Throughout this process, Mexico has tried to ensure that the resolution promoted accountability, while at the same time tried to deepen and strengthen the existing cooperation between Sri Lanka and OHCHR, as well as with the Human Rights Council mechanisms. At the same time, we emphasize that the best way of carrying out the investigation requested by the Council is through the Office of the High Commissioner, and with the independence that it grants, proper to its mandate. At the same time, Mexico believes that it is very important to bring about accountability and to do justice as a result of the human rights violations and the alleged crimes that were committed within the context of the armed conflict that occurred in Sri Lanka. We believe that the processes to reach accountability and to find the truth underlie and are essential to having a democratic state that is committed to human rights, and they are also essential to comply with Sri Lanka's international obligations in this respect. The government of Mexico would launch an appeal to the government of Sri Lanka to continue down the path of openness that it has demonstrated, to strengthen its cooperation with the United Nations mechanisms. Thank you.
I thank the Ambassador of Mexico. I give the floor to the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Republic of Korea notes